The new Super Heavy Samurai support is here. Is it actually as good as it's been hyped up to be, or does it falter? Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we're talking about the new Super Heavy Samurai support, and yeah, Wakaushi is a really good card. But honestly, this deck is pretty interesting in what it can actually accomplish. So I'm going to do the quick card by card and analysis of the deck, and then do some replays. So let's start off with the card by card, starting with the Super Heavy Samurai stuff. We're going to start with the new stuff. Wakaushi. Yes, that is technically how you say it. This card is absolutely insane. For its pendulum effect only. Do not activate the monster effect. Do you want to know why? Because it's actually pretty bad. We'll talk about that in a second, but the pendulum effect is if you have no spells or traps in your graveyard, you can place a Super Heavy Samurai pendulum monster from your deck into the other pendulum zone, then special summon this card. And as a level 4 tuner that gets a body onto your field and can reset itself with its monster effect into the pendulum zone to give you a 1 and an 8 in your pendulum scales to freely pendulum summon, this is a pretty good effect. Yeah, that's basically it. It's just a level 4 tuner that special summons itself. And then also get you pendulum summoning. But that's basically it for that individual card. However, we do have the target, which is Monk Big Benkei, which also has the ability as a pendulum to add a Super Heavy Samurai Soul monster from your deck to your hand, if you control another Super Heavy monster. Pretty good. And with its pendulum scale being a 1, it means that off of the Wakaushi, that, again, resets itself if you use it as synchro material, you can then utilize them to to pendulum summon. Pretty good. Now we have Motorbike, which is basically just a search. You just discard it, and you search out a card. That's all that it does. They don't have access to spells, so instead they're utilizing a monster. That's basically it. However, it is a level 2 tuner, which means that you can search it, and then search using it, and then put a 2 into the graveyard to go into the Stardust Dragon, or Excel Stardust Synchro, in order to then go into Baron. Pretty nice. And that's basically it for the new cards. All of the rest of the cards are cards that they already had. Except for, well, I guess there's technically these two synchros, which, no, I think this one they already had as well. But more importantly, they have the new level 12 synchro, which is fine. It draws you cards if your opponent activates a spell trap, but it's mostly here for the fact that it can attack into face-up defense position, and if it has 2 attacks, it's lethal. So, you know, that's pretty good. Also, it has protection. You can protect your monsters from battle or card destruction, which is nice. Anyway, as for the rest of the cards, we are playing 1 Soul Horns for the OTK with the level 12 synchro. We're playing 1 Soul Piercer because we can search it in order to pop our Scarecrow in order to summon a card from deck, and more importantly, get Scarecrow out of the extra monster zone because it can't be used as link material. We're playing the 1 Stealthy so that we can just special summon it. It also gives us the ability to out things like maybe not out, but deal with things like 5 Pendulum Magician. If we grab this, we can then special summon it in order to, well, actually we kind of can't, but it kind of does stuff. It basically allows you to utilize spells and traps that your opponent has used without having a card in your grave, because it just gets banished during the end phase. Or, it gets banished afterwards. So, there's that. We then also are playing 1 Soul Claw, which is just a way to freely special summon, but it also has attack and defense, and it's an Earth Machine with 500/500, which comes up for the Gearbox. We'll talk about that in a second. Obviously, we're playing 3 Motorbike. We're also playing 3 Soul Piercer, which is a non-once per turn. If it's sent from the field to the grave, search a card. That's it. This card's insane, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the card that gets hit in some capacity for Super Heavy Samurai, whether banning or limiting to 1. But there you go. Then we're playing the 3 Wagon. Wagon is able to search. You just switch it from defense to attack position, and then it can search out a soul card, which notably are the Soul Piercer, and then all these 2 as well, and then this one, the Soul Gaia Booster. Oh, Soul Gaia Booster is also technically a new card. You can equip it, and then it special summons itself from the equip, and if it's equipped to a monster, it becomes a tuner. That's pretty much it. It's also only Super Heavy Samurai monsters. And then, of course, the 3 Wakaushi and the 2 Big Benkei. And that's it. As for the rest of the oh, sorry. We're also playing one scale. Yeah, this card's pretty nice. You can basically just special summon it, or if it's special summoned, I should say, or normaled, you can then special summon a level 4 or lower from your grave. So, there you go. Pretty good. As for the rest of the cards, it's a myriad of hand traps. Now, notably, we're playing as many outs to max C as well as Droll as we possibly can. So we're playing 2 Gamma as well as the 1 Driver, as well as 3 Ash. We're then, of course, playing 3 max C, 3 Droll, because Droll is very good against our deck as well as against a myriad of other decks. But, yeah, it's pretty good. Droll happens to shut down a lot of decks. So there you go. I'm also playing 1 apiece of Ghost Ogre and Ghost Bell. They're fine, they're just kind of supplementary. This could be Crow. I've seen a lot of people play that. I don't really know why, but you could play it. It could be Veilers. It could be any sort of monster. You can't have spells and traps in your grave for the Super Heavy Samurais to work. So there's that. And then we're playing 2 Nibiru. We're also playing a few other searchable cards. That being the 1 Ancient Gear box to search off of Ballista, which will then search Tunneler. And Tunneler, if it's in the grave, can shuffle back a whole bunch of cards in order to draw 2, which is pretty nice. But it also can special summon itself. So you search it off of the gearbox and then special summon it, and then send it to the graveyard for like an Apollosa or something like that. And then we also have Regulus, which can be searched off of Genius. So there's that. And that's it for the main deck. As for the extra, we're playing a whole bunch of Synchros, a whole bunch of Links, and a few Xyzs. We're playing the 1 Ninja Sarutobi, which is a pretty decent card. It pops a spell trap on the field during the player's turn, which is kind of nice. But notably, it's an 8 that can be made pretty easily with your Super Heavies. So it's okay. But then we're playing the 1 Borreload Savage Dragon. We're playing the Excel Synchro as well as Baron Floor. And then, of course, the new Brave Masrua. I'm terrible at these names. Notably, this card could be cut. You could play something else in this spot, but it's decently good. Then we're playing for the Xyz Abyss Dweller, which is actually very nice. Turns out, being able to shut off graveyard effects, like, for example, a Soul Piercer, is pretty good. We're also playing the 1 Baguska and 1 Zeus. Then we have 3 Scarecrow, we have the 1 Genius, we have the 1 Ballista, we have Apollosa, and Axis Kotaker. Mostly our end boards consist of things like Borreload Savage, Baron, and Apo, or Regulus and Baron and Apo, and then a bunch of hand traps, and just some really good follow-up. So, that's it for the list. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performed. Alright, here we are going second, and, well, our hand's kind of interesting, but, hey, Droll Gamma seems pretty good, and, you know, of course we drew the Circular. I'm gonna Gamma this. Because I have Droll, I feel like this is a pretty decent Gamma, all things considered. So yeah, I'm gonna pop that and just be like, cool, better have it. And of course they have Cyanite Mining for, Diameter. Why would they not? However, this is actually pretty good for me, because now I can Droll, and now they don't have access to Super Factorial. So, that's pretty good. Anyway, they're going to go for the Sigma. They're going to then link off into... Oh, just kidding. They're going to make Baguska. Now, why did we do this? Well, because honestly, the rest of their plays were kind of mid. So, anyway. Sure, Baguska's not bad as well. If they know what I'm playing, which they probably do, let's be honest. Anyway, we normal summon the wagon, and we did actually draw a pretty decent card with the Big Benkei, because now we can search the Soul Piercer. We can't really beat the Baguska, at least as of yet. Anyway, so we're going to equip the Soul Piercer in order to go for our Link monster. We can then activate the Soul Piercer because it was sent to the graveyard to grab a Motorbike. Yes, it does include if it's sent from the equip zone, which yes, it can equip itself from the hand. This is a really cool card. Anyway, we grab the Wakaushi here, and then we are going to pitch the box in order to bring back the Soul Piercer, and then we are going to activate our other guy to Pendulum Summon. So we're going to Pendulum Summon here into Ancient Gear Ballista. I'm like, cool, that's not really what I'm looking for. We're going to go for the Soul Peacemaker, and then I figured out a thing. So I'm going to activate my Soul Peacemaker here. Ancient Gear Ballista has text. Did y'all know this? I'm sure you didn't. Well, I'm sure some of you did, but you can target a spell trap you control and a face-up monster your opponent controls. Destroy that card, and if you do, change that opponent's monster's attack and defense to 0 until the end of the turn. Didn't know I had that effect, but now we get to pop our pendulum so that we can put another pendulum into that scale, and we get to walk over the Baguska. Fantastic. Now, there's not a whole lot that I can do here because I didn't know about that effect, but at the very least, we can go for the wagon. Wagon can then search the Soul Piercer, and again, remember we haven't gone for, or we hadn't activated the wagon effect. So we can equip and then synchro off into the Excel. Excel is then going to bring back a monster to go for Baron. Oh, we also get to freely scale up our guy again. Anyway, I grab Bike because I need follow-up. I don't really have anything else. I could have summoned another thing, but I could have either gone, like a 3-mat Apo here and just foregone Baron, or I could have gone Baron and just kind of had Ballista on my field. So I decided to go for the Baron here. And yeah, let's see what we can do here. Anyway, they're gonna obviously start off with the Sigma, and of course they have subtraction. Of course it's subtraction as well, which is annoying. So they're gonna go for the Allen version. I feel like I have to negate this. If I allow it to go through, they get another search of something like addition or what have you, and then they just walk over my guy and do full combo, and I can't really interrupt them. This also kind of means that they have to have some sort of normal summon that does it, right? Because obviously Diameter's in the grave, so they would need like another Defensor or something like that, or there's a lot of things that do it, and yeah, that's one of them. So yeah, it's Firewall Guardian. It's going to bring itself back. This now makes Splash Mage, because Splash Mage is a cool card, so now it activates its effect, bring back the Circular, and then they're going to link off into the Link Decoder, and then they're going to go into the Transcode Talker, and then they're going to go Transcode Talker in order to bring back the Splash Mage. And now, at that point, my opponent thought for a very long time. Actually, before they even brought back Splash Mage. But the reason for this is because they were trying to find lethal, and they didn't have it. So they could have gone for the Terahertz, right? Terahertz could have then sent Dotscaper, and Dotscaper could have brought back itself, but they don't have a way to go into Update Jammer, which means they don't really have lethal. So what they decided to do is go Access Code and just clear the field. So they're going to do that. They're going to just pop a whole bunch of cards. They pop Baron, they pop both of my Pendulums, and then they just walk over the Ballista. But I do have Motorbike, so the last card in hand has to be like Ash Blossom, which I don't think it is unless they hard drew it for turn. And I draw Gamma, which literally doesn't do anything. Now, granted, I could have literally just normal summoned the Bike and then linked off into the Link one and gone from there, but either way, we ended up winning, so, you know, good game. Weird game. Alright, so here we are going first, and this is a pretty good hand, starting off with Wakaushi as well as the Soul Piercer. Seems pretty good. We're going to start with the Wakaushi so that we can then bait out like a Maxi or something like that. Anyway, we grab it up off of the the Big Benkei, our Soul Gaia booster, so that we can special summon it. Now we're going to go for the Soul Piercer, and then just link off the monster we equipped it to, in order to go into our Link one. Soul Piercer will trigger, grab up the Motorbike. We're going to activate the Motorbike to put it into the grave, and then grab up the Scales. Now we haven't normal summoned, nor have we Pendulum summoned, so do keep that in mind. We're going to bring back in order to then go for the Excel Stardust Synchro, and then Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, Chain Link 3, in this order. So we're going to go search a card. We're going to bring back the Bike, and then we also get to scale up our Wakaushi. Anyway, so bring back the guy, and we get to search. I search the wagon. We're going to then link off into Baron here, and then now we can go for our Pendulum summon. So we're going to summon it 1, 2, and 3, and Scales is going to activate, bringing back another Tuner, which is pretty nice. We're going to go for the Ballista here, activate the Ballista effect in order to search, as well as the Soul Piercer effect to search. Yeah, the Soul Piercer doesn't matter as much, so we grab the Peacemaker, and then we grab up the Box. And then Box is going to activate its effect here in order to grab up Tunneler. Now, if I hadn't already used my Pendulum Summon, the best option here would have been to go for like Genius, and then we can Pendulum Summon out 2 monsters into the zones of the Genius, and then that will trigger to search out the Regulus. However, obviously I've already used that, so can't really do that. Anyway, we grab off of Wagon the booster, which I forgot I had already used, so whoops. Anyway, we're going to go for the Soul Peacemaker in order to go into our Soul Piercer, and then link off into Appaloosa here. And then we go for the Soul Peacemaker, grab up the wagon, which I believe we haven't normal summoned, so there's that. And then I don't know what I'm doing. I do have to pop this because this guy's a tuner, and I wanted it to not be a tuner. Anyway, we're going to modulate the level, because this can also modulate it, a level of a Super Heavy Samurai, a machine monster, and it can increase the level by 2, which then gives me an 8, which gives me Borreload Furious, or Borreload Savage Dragon, which then equips the 2 from the grave, and I do have Tunneler and Gearbox just randomly in hand, so, oops. Anyway, my opponent is playing Pearly. I'm gonna just negate everything. Like, literally, that's all that I do. I just negate almost everything. So there you go. They're gonna link off into Anima. Now I'm gonna negate that with Appo. Then they're going to normal summon the Pearly, and I just allow this to resolve, because I'm more concerned about the actual Pearly effect to, like, summon a card, and they still can't walk over anything, so I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then they go Azalea, and I'm like, what? They don't activate the effect, they just walk into it. I'm like, okay, sure. And out comes Happy Memory, protecting the Azalea, and out comes Pearl Lily, and I'm like, okay, so you have all 3 Happy Memories in grave. You have 1 card in hand, which I can negate with the Borreload, and you activate the Pearly effect. Cool, anyway, Baron Pop. So I negate, destroy, they activate Thrust, I negate. Cool, very fun. Alright, here we are going first, and let's see what we can do. So we're going to start off here with the Soul Peacemaker. We're going to go into the Samurai, or into the Scarecrow, search out the Wakaushi effect. We're going to then scale up our other guy, search out another Peacemaker, Soul Piercer. Then we're going to equip. We're going to pitch the other in order to go for the other Soul Piercer, and that's going to be negated. Whatever, not really that big of a deal, because we now have our Soul Piercer in hand already. And then we're going to go and activate our Wagon effect, grabbing up the Booster. Booster is then going to equip and special summon, and then we're going to link off it into the Ancient Gear Ballista. Ballista is going to grab Box. Box is going to activate its effect to grab up Tunneler, and then we can go and activate our Tunneler, and then synchro off into Genius. Anyway, now we still haven't activated our. We still haven't Pendulum summoned, so do keep that in mind. Anyway, Tunneler is going to activate, and I do need to draw 2, so that's why I'm activating this so soon. Normally you want to put back, like, Gearbox and stuff like that, but I just needed to draw 2. And I drew Scales, which is pretty nice. So we can grab up the second Wakaushi, and then we can Pendulum summon out 3, as well as utilize the Scales here, which is pretty good, because we can now grab a 2. And now we can grab a Regulus as well. We're going to link off into the Appaloosa, and then of course we're going to Synchro into Baron, utilizing the Excel Synchro, and then, you know, do that. We have 3 hand traps in hand as well, because, yeah, I also kind of make a bit of a mistake here by utilizing the Regulus, not targeting, like, a Soul Piercer or something like that. To be fair, I did shuffle back the Soul Piercers, because I'm stupid. Don't do that. Don't be like me. At least keep 1 in the grave for Regulus. So, that was a bit of a goof. It's fine. I have 3 hand traps. I have how many negates? I have 2 Omni negates and 3 monster negates, while also having the ability to Pendulum summon things like Wakaushi out onto the field, which is also pretty nice, while also having, again, 3 hand traps, including a Nibiru, which is kind of crazy. Well, Dark Ruler kind of sours it, but not really that big of a deal, because my opponent is going to go for the Small World, and I just activate Droll and win the game, basically, right? Now, they still have Circular, so they're going to activate the Circular, they're going to dump Sigma, Sigma is going to Special Summon, then they're going to link off into the Splash Mage, to which they will then activate the Splash Mage, and Special Summon a guy. They're going to then link off into a Link Karibo, because they drew Dotscaper, because they're just better, you know? They're going to Dotscaper. I'm actually going to choose to negate here, even though I know Regulus is not going to do anything. I just want my Nibiru token to be not as big, so Nibiru here. Now, I know what you're saying. How do we out Nibiru? Access code. That's why we're playing it. Anyway, so they have 1 set card. It could be called by, could be an Imperm. So, yeah, we'll see what it is. It's a called by. I don't know why we didn't call by the Droll, but we didn't, so there's that. I'm confused, but sure. Anyway, they're gonna call by my wagon, so kind of sad there. Not really that big of a deal though, because we can just link it off. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to just link off into the Scarecrow, and then Scarecrow effect is going to pitch the Snow Rabbit and bring back Scales. Scales effect activate. We're going to bring back the 2. And then we can now activate our Big Benkei, which can search out the Soul Piercer, and then we can modulate levels in order to go into... I go into Borreload Savage, Borreload Savage here, just to, like, get more materials, basically. And we still have the ability to Pendulum Summon, so we can Pendulum Summon 2 there, and then we can do more from that. It's just, yeah, all sorts of fun. And my opponent realizes the writing on the wall, and just concedes. Yeah, good game. Alright, this goes to show you why we're playing 3 Droll, and why every deck should be playing 3 Droll this format. So, first and foremost, my opponent is playing Manadimian and Droll. Cool, they're going to special summon a guy and then just pass the turn. Cool. Anyway, I'm going to draw for turn, and it's Regulus, which is pretty nice. We're going to go Wagon. We're going to go for the Wagon effect, yada yada. Activate the Wagon effect, grab up the Booster equip. We're going to then special summon. Link off into the Scarecrow, activate the Soul Piercer, grab up the Motorbike effect. We're going to then get promptly ashed. Well, not much I can do about that. I'm going to Regulus here. We're going to special summon that guy. Activate the Scarecrow and Droplet! Well, there you go. Droplet. Not much I can do about that. I am going to try to do something about that, though. We're going to go into Ballista. Ballista, grab a Gearbox. Gearbox is going to then grab Tunneler. And then I'm going to Tunneler... get away that guy, and then we can link off into Genius, and this is more so just a draw 2. It's fine, I'll just draw 2, I'll do well. So we're gonna put a whole bunch of cards back, and then, well, I mean, okay, this is still pretty good. We drew full combo on the following turn, and Nibiru. I'm feeling pretty good, okay? My opponent is going to then try to pop a card, and I'm like, no? It didn't matter. Of course, they had the room. All right. Why would they not? Anyway, it's fine. They'll just play into Nibiru. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. They search out one of the silliest cards I've ever read. When a spell trap or monster effect is activated while you control a synchro monster, negate the activation. Then if you have Visa Starfrost or a monster with 15 or 2k on the field, you can destroy that negated card. And then you can banish it to target 3 manas in the grave, shuffle them into the deck. This is... Why... Sure. Anyway, out comes Amritara. Amritara is going to search out the Reichardt planet, and then the planet is going to search out the... I don't know why we grab Vsauce here. I really don't. I feel like you grab a Scareclaw here, but they just choose not to, so, don't know what's going on there. Anyway, they special summon out at the Vsauce, go into the Lightheart. Lightheart add the other field spell, link off into Cross Sheep. And I'm like, I'm very confused at this point. And then I remembered this card exists. Yeah, this card's, it's here. That's for certain. So yeah, now they're going to special summon. They're also going to pop a card. Out comes another 2, and I'm like, oh, that's Baron. Anyway, no. So, you know, Nibiru. Anyway, the game's over, by the way, because I know the 2 cards in hand, and we just gotta go Motorbike and win the game. So, my opponent concedes there. I also drew Driver, because who needs other cards? Good, yeah, yeah. Alright, we're back with the deck, and I'm not going to lie to you. This deck is not as good as a lot of people are making it out to be. Yes, it can FTK. There is technically an FTK with it, but who cares? There's an FTK with a lot of decks that they could pivot to. The reason they don't is because it's honestly never really worth it. It's better just to play lower to the ground, especially in a best of one. Well, not especially in a best of one. In a best of one, you're more likely to play an FTK, but whatever. This deck just vomits out a whole bunch of cards. However, it has a lot of silver bullets. One in particular is 5-color pendulum. What is it? The Rainbow Magician. Rainbow Magician. Let me see this card. 5 Rainbow Magician. This card, there's no out. You lose. If this card hits the pendulum zone, you lose the game immediately on the spot. There's nothing you can do. You lose. You scoop it up. You move on. I hate this card because it's not even interesting. It's not even interesting. Unlike a lot of other floodgates, it just says, cool, you can't activate a monster effect nor declare an attack. Why? Because you chose to not play a spell trap. And that's fine, except for when an entire mechanic of a deck is don't play spells and traps. So, there's that. However, there's also a whole bunch of other silver bullets. Maxi, Guess what? You can't play Called By nor Crossout, which means Maxi resolves a lot. Also, you don't really have other options to go into. That's why we're playing Baguska, because sometimes you can make a 4 and another 4 and then just make Baguska and pray. Sometimes it works. Also, Droll. Yeah, you just kind of lose to Droll. I mean, you can kind of make stuff. Like, sometimes if your hand is good enough, you can make Baron. But, like, Baron Pass is kind of just a death sentence, especially in the modern metagame, especially with decks like this running around, where basically, oh, cool, you Baroned my Soul Piercer? Anyway, activate Bike, activate Wakaushi, special summon another guy, etc., etc. So, there's a lot of things like that that are just very clearly issues for you. Also, just going second, sure, you could potentially draw the hand traps that you need, but you could also potentially go against, like, Labyrinth and not draw Ash, and then just lose, because things like Nibiru and Droll and Maxi and even Gamma aren't really going to do a whole lot. So there's that. That's why things like Ghost Bell are pretty good, and why people have been playing things like DD Crow. But they're just kind of cope. This deck is, don't get me wrong, this deck is very strong. I will admit that. It is very good. However, if people are at all prepared for it, it dies to just about everything. It is not good with a side deck, nor without a side deck, if people are prepared for it. And people are currently prepared for it. I think it'll probably sit somewhere in the top tier, but I don't know if it's as good as a lot of people are hyping it up to be. It's not better than Branded. It's not even better than Labyrinth. It's just good. Those are my honest opinions, and who knows, I may end up being wrong about this. I'd be surprised about that, but there is a chance that this deck is honestly way better, and it's the best deck. We just have to play it in a very specific way. Who knows? Maybe the FTK is actually the best version. I doubt it, but maybe. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, I like this very much, so appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. And really, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.